Hey everybody, I'm Ben from Hamilton Tile, and one of the #1 concerns people have when I speak to them about having construction guys work in their home is whether or not people are going to keep their home clean and organized. Well, Hamilton Tile, we've heard your concerns and we try our very, very best to protect your home up to a very high standard. This video is going to show you a bit about our tear out process or our demolition process. The demolition is the nastiest, dustiest, most brutal part of a bathroom remodel or a backsplash remodel. There's a lot that goes into it, more than people would think. A tear out, believe it or not, is a very skilled process. It takes skill to not damage your home, so damage water pipes, damage existing finishes, things of that nature. It takes skill to not get injured during these tear outs because there's an extreme amount of sharp objects. Tear outs can also be difficult as far as protecting your body, not only from cuts but also from dust and hazardous material. So all day I'll wear a respirator, for example. You'll see me in this video with ear protection, heavy duty gloves, etc., full long sleeve shirts. So again, nothing can ruin a day's work worse than a severe injury, which can happen. We also take extreme measures to try to keep the dust and the grit and the grime to a minimum. So we have recently purchased a Build Clean air filtration system that really helps us keep your home very clean. We put down plastic, cardboard. Most of this process is about protecting existing finishes. It's also very important not to tear out more than is necessary so that you don't have to do unnecessary work like repairing drywall or repairing plumbing. So it's very important to have a plan in place during your tear out. And that's why it's going to be best to have the people that are actually building your bathroom and that are responsible for the finished product to actually be doing the tear out. That's one of the first parts, because the people that are building the project have knowledge about how things are going to end up at the end in order to lessen the degree of damage during the tear out. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the Hamilton Tile tear out difference, the Hamilton Tile demolition difference. This isn't a dust-free endeavor, but we try to make it as close to a dust-free endeavor as possible. Jason and I personally do your demolition because your bathroom, once you hire us, once a contract is signed, is our baby. The whole thing. Not just the glamorous parts, not just the finished parts, but everything. That thing becomes our baby. And we put ourselves through considerable amount of suffering and hard work in order to make sure your bathroom turns out to a very high standard and that your bathroom is going to be worthy for a magazine. Another major tool is our new Build Clean air filter. We've used it on the last couple jobs and we'll get negative air pressure going. We also use these a plastic wall to cordon off the master bedroom area, and we'll use zip poles in order to build a temporary wall to do dust control. And actually that Build Clean system really creates that negative air pressure, and you can feel it sucking all the air back inside and sucking it out the window, and it's a great tool to use. Yeah, I will say with 100% certainty that the biggest thing and the biggest concern for me when I do a tear out is making it out of these things without any injuries, without leaving any blood or skin behind, without having to go to the urgent care to get stitches. And for me, if I can make it out of a tear out without losing any blood or tearing any skin, that's a good day. the worst part of these tear outs is wearing the respirator all day, and also the amount of grit and dust that is on my body. After one of these tear outs, all I want to do is get home to a shower. We would bring my trailer in order to take these things apart and throw them inside the trailer. And that's a stressful endeavor because then you have to move it. But we did find a really good dumpster company called Been There, Dumped That. And they are really good about protecting people's driveways from the damage that most dumpsters cause when they're dropping it off or picking it up. Jason told me that he hired them specifically because they had a video on their Google profile showing them dropping off the trailer or dropping off the dumpster and how they did not damage the driveway and their technique in which they used to do that. So for all you content marketers out there, think about that. They were the only company that differentiated themselves with a video showing how it all went down. So that was a great thing, and they've turned out to be a really good company. So we get a dumpster, we park it out in the driveway, dump all the stuff in there, and probably 3 or 4 days later, they come and grab the dumpster like clockwork. And most of the people, most of the homeowners that have the dumpster in their driveway, they always clear out their garage or they dump all their stuff in there that they want to get rid of too, because there's always extra space. So it's a great thing. Been There, Dumped That. Very good company. So I'm going for full pants, long sleeve shirts, safety glasses, ear protection, a respirator, boots, all good gloves, all that kind of stuff. In this video, you can see that Jason does most of the carrying out to the dumpster, which he's really good at, making sure that things outside don't get damaged, whereas I'm really good at tearing things apart, and I have the respirator and the ear protection and all this going on. So that's my skill set. So we work really well together. We're kind of yin and yang, if you will. We work to each other's strengths. The tip that I can offer you is to work from the top down. That's the best thing to do. So I'll start inside the shower, I'll work from the top of the shower down, then I'll do the floor. And another very good tip is to think like the people that were building the shower. The problem with that is sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to how people build these showers. Like this shower, for example, had a pre-slope, which was really good, but they didn't have weep hole protection. They didn't make sure the weep holes were clear. A lot of these things on this shower were no rhyme or reason. Like they had cement board on the back 2 walls, but another wall, short wall inside the shower, had sheetrock. It was still inside the shower. There's no rhyme or reason, but I do try to think like the people that are building the shower so that I can more easily take the shower apart. I get in their boots, I get in their shoes in order to try to make my life easier. As you can see in this tear out, it was brutal due to this bench that you see here that I'm demoing. It's all concrete and bricks, and this bench itself is probably 300-400 pounds of masonry material. I never thought that these bricks were going to end. The number one test of a good tear out, it's whether or not they took the wax ring. The wax ring on top of the toilet flange. How many times do I see someone that said, we did the tear out is done, and they've left the wax ring? Come on, that tear out's not done if you leave the wax ring. It's simple as this. Your standards are our standards. We wouldn't do anything in your home that we wouldn't want someone else doing in our home. It's kind of the golden rule, do unto others, right? But it's a little bit updated. It's more like do unto others as they would have you do unto them. We really like to use these type of bins, which are great with the handles for carrying things out. We have about 20 of them. We'll fill up buckets as well. I'm also a huge proponent of clean as you go. You'll see in this video that I'll make one mess in probably a 5 square foot area, and then I'll clean up that mess completely and then move on to the next area. I learned this from my dad when I was a kid, because when he was cooking, he would always cook a little bit and then wash the dishes and then cook a little bit and clean up over here. And he was big on the clean as you go method. So at the end of the job, you don't have this huge ungodly mess to clean up. I watch a lot of guys out there, I've worked with other guys, that they'll create such a mess inside where they're working, like a bomb went off. And my thought and my logic on this is that when you create a huge mess like that and you just work around it, you're opening yourself up to injury. For example, if you're working on something and you're pulling on something, and unfortunately you fall backwards, for example, just a little bit. If you have a huge mess behind you, you don't really have, your landing zone is all messed up and you're gonna trip and fall on something. Whereas if you're clean as you go and you might slip or whatever, you're pulling on that and you fall backwards, you have a nice big clean area, a landing zone, so that if you fall over, you're not gonna fall on a cinder block or on a piece of tile or on a nail or anything like that. So that's my clean as you go technique that I use in order to make the job site safer. That's my number one reason why I do that, is because I am a bit clumsy. I understand that about myself, so I try to keep everything clear and clean, one section at a time, clean as you go. Another Hamilton tile difference. Yeah, so you'll see me here as I'm tearing up. I'm actually pulling all the nails and the screws from the cement board as I go. Some people will say, oh, why do you do that? Why don't you just wait till the end and do all the nails at once? Who wants to kneel on a screw? Who wants to kneel on grit and cement? I don't. So that's why I do clean as you go. I pull those screws as I move through that area. This particular master bathroom, other than that cinder block seat, came out pretty easily because, frankly, it wasn't really built that well. The main floor outside, the cement board is supposed to be thin-setted down. That wasn't done. They used sheetrock screws to put it down, so it came apart pretty easily, and I just did it by section. We also took out some cabinets. We took out the jacuzzi tub. So this, on a scale of 1 to 10, the size of it was pretty big. It was probably a 8 in terms of the difficulty of the tear out. So with these tear outs, the Hamilton tile difference is we understand your standards because there are standards. We're very conscientious about how we do things in people's homes. Ben from HamiltonTileGA.com. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you on your next bathroom remodeling project.